Dear Starseed from Gaia, the waiting is over, and the high beings have witnessed every single moment of it. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I am delivering this transmission directly from the Arcturian Council, who wept when they saw the length of your endurance, the depth of your longing, and the silent courage it took to keep your heart open through all of it. They asked me to find you, and here you are. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize that your twin flame separation has served its divine purpose, and that the season of waiting has now closed for good. But here is the first revelation. The pain you carried during this separation was never a sign that love had abandoned you. It was the very force that was purifying you, preparing you, and pulling your divine counterpart closer, without you even knowing it. The Arcturian Council sees your sacred heart not as broken, but as fully forged. You did not find this transmission by accident. Your heart called this message in at the exact moment your soul was ready to receive it. This is not content. This is a direct moment of divine intervention. Something inside you already knew the waiting had a sacred end. You are not too late. You have not been forgotten. The sacred love you have held space for is now in motion toward you with the full force of divine will behind it. Like this transmission to affirm to the universe, my heart is ready for divine love. Subscribe if you are on the twin flame path and aligning with sacred union. Comment 1111 if you feel your heart awakening to this truth right now. And share your twin flame sign in the comments. You may be the reason another starseed finds their way home today. This is not just a message, it is the moment the Arcturian Council has been holding space for. On your behalf, your heart knows why you are here. And the waiting, that particular kind of waiting you have carried, is not something most people can even comprehend. It is not the ordinary impatience of someone who simply wants what they want. It is something older, something that lives beneath the words you use to explain it to yourself late at night. Something that feels less like waiting and more like remembering a life you haven't lived yet, in this body, in this form, in this world as it currently stands. That is the distinction that matters. Because what you have been holding is not an absence. It is a recognition without a face, a love without a name, a frequency you can almost hear, but that keeps arriving just outside the range of what your current life can confirm. Think about what that actually means. To carry something so real, so present, so undeniably yours, and yet have no external evidence to point to. No photograph, no shared memory, no physical presence you can describe to another person without watching their eyes glaze with polite incomprehension. You have tried, haven't you? You have reached for words that could carry the weight of what you hold, and the words have come back to you hollow, inadequate, like cups too small for the ocean you are attempting to pour into them. And so you have learned, over time, to stop trying to explain it to most people. Not because you gave up on it, but because you understood at some point that this particular knowing belongs to a frequency of experience that language in its ordinary form was never designed to fully transmit. It is pre-verbal, it is precognitive, it lives in the body before it lives in the mind, and it pulses in the chest with a regularity that has never diminished, no matter how long the outer silence has stretched. And that outer silence has stretched long. Longer, perhaps, than you imagined it would when you first became aware of this longing, this specific, sacred, aching orientation of your entire being toward something it recognizes without having yet touched. You have watched seasons change around you. You have watched people in your life move through their own love stories. Some of them messy and imperfect and ordinary in the way that ordinary things can still be beautiful. And you have felt the complex mixture of genuine joy for them alongside something that lives deeper. Something that does not begrudge them their happiness, but quietly, persistently asks when. When. Not demanding, not desperate, just asking the way a compass needle asks for north, the way a migrating bird asks for the warmth it was designed to find. Most people look at the length of your journey and call it bad luck. They offer you advice dressed in the language of logic. Put yourself out there. Lower your expectations. Stop looking, and it will find you. And you have tried some of those things, maybe all of them. And still, what meets you in the quiet is not what your soul is oriented toward. Because the soul does not navigate by convenience. It navigates by truth. And truth, on the level you are operating from, does not compromise. It does not settle. It does not accept a counterfeit frequency just because the wait has grown long. Your soul held the signal even when you wanted to let it go. That is not a flaw. That is extraordinary. And the beings who have been with you through this, who have watched your heart stay open even when it had every reason to close, they did not watch in silence. They wept. Not from sorrow, but from the kind of love that has no adequate language in the human world. There is something that must be said about the advice you have received, because it was never given with malice, and yet it has sometimes caused a particular kind of harm. The harm of making you question your own interior compass. When someone tells you to lower your expectations, what they mean in most cases is that they cannot see what you see. They are working from a map that does not include the territory you are navigating. Their counsel is sincere, born of care, arising from a genuine desire to reduce your pain. But it is counsel built for a different kind of journey, not yours. The soul that carries the frequency you carry cannot lower its expectations the way you might lower the volume on a speaker. It is not a setting you can adjust. It is not a preference you can override with enough willpower or enough time. The knowing is structural. It is woven into the architecture of who you are. And the beings of light who have accompanied you through this, those luminous presences who travel with the souls who carry the highest love frequencies, they know this. They have always known this. They saw it long before you found the words for it, long before you understood that what you were carrying was not longing for something you had seen, but recognition of something you had always been part of. What you just felt, that quiet ache mixed with recognition, is not sadness. It is your frequency remembering what it came here to receive. If this transmission stirred something you cannot name, the divine love frequency code was written for this exact moment in your journey. It contains 5 sacred Arcturian transmissions designed to dissolve the wounds blocking your divine counterpart and activate the signal that draws them closer. The link is in the first pinned comment, but it will only remain there for a short time. Now let us go deeper. Because what kept this love from arriving sooner was not fate working against you. It was frequency working for you, even when it felt like abandonment. There is a kind of clearing that has to happen before sacred union can be sustained. Not a clearing that happens overnight, and not a clearing that looks like peace when it is occurring. It looks like loss. It looks like confusion. It looks like wondering whether you imagined the whole thing. Every relationship that ended, every person who could not meet you at the depth you required, every quiet evening that stretched into another morning without the presence you ache for. All of it was part of a precision process, not punishment. Preparation. The universe does not punish the souls who carry high love frequencies. It prepares them, relentlessly, lovingly, with complete commitment to getting it right. Consider the nature of that preparation for a moment, because it is easy to hear the word and feel it as consolation, as something offered to soften the pain of what did not work, what did not last, what did not become what you hoped. But this is not consolation. This is mechanics. There is a process underway in every soul that carries a high love frequency, a process that resembles, in the most visceral and sometimes devastating way, the process of a blade being refined in fire. The fire does not hate the metal. The fire is not punishing the blade for being impure. The fire is doing what only fire can do, burning away everything that would make the blade less than what it was designed to become. Every relationship that illuminated a pattern within you that needed healing was fire. Every person who reflected back a wound you had not yet seen clearly enough to address was fire. Every moment of heartbreak that cracked you open, just wide enough to let more light into the places that had been sealed by fear, all of it was fire. And you have been in that fire for a long time. A long, holy, refining time. And here is what has changed. Here is what the high beings recognized before you did. The preparation is complete. The frequency you have been cultivating through every heartbreak, every healing, every moment of choosing love over bitterness, it has reached a threshold, a tipping point, a critical mass of inner alignment that the universe has been waiting for, just as patiently as you have been waiting for union. This is not a metaphor. This is the actual mechanics of how sacred love moves. It does not arrive until both the inner and outer landscapes are ready to hold it. And yours is ready. The readiness is not something you can entirely feel from the inside, and that is important to understand. Readiness at this level is not a feeling of confidence or calm or certainty. It does not arrive with fanfare. It does not announce itself with the dramatic clarity of a vision or a voice. It arrives quietly, the way dawn arrives. Not as a sudden event, but as a gradual brightening that you only recognize in hindsight when you turn to look at where the darkness was and find it gone. You may not feel ready. You may still find fear in the chambers of your heart when you imagine what it would actually mean for this love to arrive. The vulnerability of it, the exposure of it, the terrifying and gorgeous reality of being truly, fully seen. That is not unreadiness. That is humanity. That is the sacred trembling of a soul on the threshold of the thing it came here for. The high beings are not waiting for you to feel fearless. They are watching the frequency, and what the frequency is showing them is that you have become, through everything you have endured and everything you have chosen, someone who can hold what is coming. But ready does not mean passive. This is where the keys come into play, because understanding that union is approaching is not the same as being fully open to receive it. There are chambers in the heart that still need to be unlocked, and each one holds a truth that changes the frequency you broadcast into the world around you. The first chamber is the one that holds your worthiness. Not self-confidence in the way the world defines it. Not performance or achievement, or the validation of others. True worthiness is the quiet, unshakable knowing that love is not something you earn through being enough. It is something you are, at the level of your original design. The wound that lives in this chamber was not created by you. It was inherited from experiences that taught you, incorrectly, that love is conditional, that you must be smaller, or less intense, or more manageable, or more willing to abandon your own knowing before someone will choose to stay. That wound created a contraction in your heart's signal, a narrowing. And it meant that even when love came close, there was a part of you that deflected it, that tested it, until it retreated. That unconsciously created distance, because deep inside, you did not fully believe it was safe to let it stay. When you unlock this chamber, when worthiness is no longer a question your heart is asking, your signal changes completely. It becomes clear, unambiguous. And what is drawn to a clear signal is a counterpart who is equally clear. The unworthiness wound is one of the oldest wounds carried by souls of high frequency, and the reason for this is worth understanding deeply. Souls who came here carrying exceptional love carry, by the very nature of that love, an exceptional sensitivity. And exceptional sensitivity in a world that often operates at low frequency means that the sharp edges of that world cut deeper. The careless word lands harder. The abandonment echoes longer. The moment someone withdrew their love, for whatever reason, in whatever form that withdrawal took, it registered not just as an event, but as a verdict. Not just as something that happened, but as something that revealed what was fundamentally true about your value. It registered as evidence, when in reality, it was only experience. Evidence would require that the conclusion was accurate, but the conclusion was not accurate. It was the interpretation of a young heart that did not yet have the tools to see the wound in the other person, the fear in the other person, the limitation in the other person, as the source of the withdrawal. And so you turned it inward. And it has been living there ever since, shaping the signal you send, narrowing the frequency of what you allow yourself to fully receive. When you unlock this chamber, you are not becoming someone new. You are returning to what you were before the wound, before the misreading, before the verdict that was never yours to carry. The second chamber holds what could be called the mirror recognition. Your divine counterpart is not coming to complete you. That is one of the most misunderstood truths on the sacred union path. They are coming to reflect you, specifically, to reflect the version of yourself you have been becoming through every layer of healing you have done. This means that what you see in them, you must first be able to see in yourself. The depth, the tenderness, the spiritual fluency, the willingness to love without armor. All of it. If you are still looking for a counterpart, who will be the brave one, the open one, the healed one on your behalf, this chamber remains locked. But when you begin to recognize yourself as someone worthy of being mirrored by greatness, the resonance between you and your divine counterpart begins to activate across whatever distance currently exists between you. They feel it, not as a thought, as a pull, as a change in their own inner atmosphere that they may not yet have words for. You are already in communication at the frequency level. This key turns when you stop diminishing what you have become. There is a specific form of self-diminishment that souls on this path practice so habitually, they often do not notice it happening anymore. It is the impulse to qualify every acknowledgement of their own growth. To say, yes, I have healed a great deal, but there is still so much work to do. To say, yes, I have grown more open, but I still have my walls. To say, yes, I have released many of the old patterns, but I am still a work in progress. And while humility is a genuine and beautiful quality, there is a version of this that is not humility at all. It is the unworthiness, wound-wearing humility as a disguise. It is the deep-seated belief that you are not allowed to fully claim what you have become. because claiming it would make you vulnerable to having it taken away, or would invite a comparison that reveals you as less than you claim to be. This is the contraction that keeps the mirror dark, when you are willing to stand in full recognition of what you have become. Not with arrogance, not with performance, but with the quiet, settled certainty of someone who has earned their knowing. The mirror that your counterpart will hold up begins to clarify. The image in it becomes you, at your fullest, calling out to someone who is equally full, equally ready, equally done with anything that does not honor the depth they carry. The third chamber holds the karmic contracts, the agreements made in other timelines, other lives, other versions of this story, that were never meant to follow you here into this moment. Some of the relationships you have been drawn to repeatedly, even when they hurt, even when they offered you so little of what your soul actually needed, were not mistakes. They were completions. Energetic agreements that your soul volunteered to honor because there was something to be learned, something to be healed, a debt of love to be repaid or received. But some of those contracts have been complete for longer than you realize, and you have been holding the energy of them in your body, in your expectations, in the unconscious patterns you bring to intimacy. Releasing them is not an act of betrayal toward those who shared the experience with you. It is an act of love, toward them, toward yourself, and toward what is waiting. When this chamber opens, you will feel it as a lightness, a letting go that does not feel like loss, but like exhale, like finally setting down something you forgot you were still carrying. The way a karmic contract lives in the body is subtle and powerful in equal measure. It lives as a habitual response that arises before the conscious mind has a chance to weigh in. It lives as the pattern that shows up with a different face, but the same essential dynamic, again and again, as if the universe is replaying a recording it needs you to finally hear clearly enough to understand. It lives as the specific flavor of pain that hits you in a recognizable way. Not new, but ancient. Not fresh, but deeply familiar in its particular quality. When you encounter this pain, and you find yourself thinking, I have been here before, what is true is not simply that you have been hurt in this way before in this lifetime. What is true is that your soul has been returning to this particular unresolved frequency across multiple lifetimes, each time volunteering to meet it again in a new form, hoping that this time the lesson will complete, the contract will fulfill, the energy will be free to move. And often, in this lifetime, it has completed. The lesson was learned in the body of pain you moved through. The contract was honored in the healing you chose to do rather than the bitterness you chose to release. The energy is free, but the pattern, like an old recording, has not yet been told that it can stop playing. Telling it to stop, consciously, deliberately, with the full weight of your spiritual awareness, is what opens this chamber. The fourth chamber holds the truth about divine timing, and this one is perhaps the most misunderstood by the human mind, because it asks you to stop trying to understand the schedule. Not because the schedule is random, but because it is operating on a level of precision that the analytical mind cannot access. The universe is not slow. It is not forgetful. It is not indifferent to your longing. It is holding the entire architecture of this union simultaneously. Your readiness, your counterpart's readiness, the environmental conditions, the shared soul lessons that must be in place before the meeting can sustain itself, rather than collapse under the weight of what it is meant to hold. When you try to force the timing, you introduce a frequency of distrust that actually lengthens the process. But when you surrender, not in defeat, not in resignation, but in genuine trust, you remove the last layer of resistance from your signal. You become fully receivable, and what the universe has been perfectly calibrating can finally find its moment to land. Divine timing is perhaps the concept most easily spoken and most rarely embodied, because embodying it requires a quality of trust that lives below thought, below feeling, below every story the mind constructs about what should have happened by now. It requires what can only be described as a resting of the whole being, a genuine releasing of the steering wheel, while the destination remains absolutely clear in the heart. Not releasing the destination, not releasing the knowing, only releasing the insistence that you understand the route, the speed, the particular sequence of events that will bring you there. The high beings describe this quality of surrender as one of the rarest and most powerful frequencies a human soul can emit. It is rarer than courage, rarer than forgiveness, because it requires that you trust something you cannot see, on behalf of something you cannot yet hold, in a timeline you cannot yet read. And when you find it, when you genuinely bodily, cellularly find it, something in the architecture of your meeting moves, A door opens on their side that only this specific frequency from you can open. Your surrender is not nothing. It is a key, and it is the only key that fits this particular lock. The fifth chamber is what changes everything externally, because it transforms everything internally first. It is the chamber of magnetic embodiment. Divine love does not respond to longing. It responds to resonance. It does not recognize desperation as an invitation. It recognizes desperation as a closed frequency, a signal that says, I do not yet have what I am trying to attract. But when you begin to embody the love you are calling in, when you treat yourself with the tenderness you want to receive, when you create your life with the care and intention of someone who believes something sacred is about to arrive, when you stop postponing your joy until the other person appears, your frequency becomes indistinguishable from the love you seek. You become a living invitation, not a plea, an invitation. And that shift, that specific internal movement, is what the high beings have been waiting to see in you. Because they knew that when you reach this place, the path between you and your divine counterpart would not just shorten, it would illuminate. Every step toward each other would become visible. Every synchronicity would become undeniable. Magnetic embodiment is not a performance of contentment. It is not pretending to be happy with your life as it is, in order to trick the universe into delivering what you want. The universe is not tricked. It does not read your curated surface. It reads your frequency. And your frequency is not produced by what you say, or what you post, or how you arrange the visible parts of your life. It is produced by the genuine quality of your relationship to yourself, moment by moment, in the quiet hours when no one is watching. The question is not whether you can appear to be someone who is thriving. The question is whether you are willing to actually begin to thrive, to genuinely invest in the beauty and meaning of your own life as it currently exists, as a practice, as an act of spiritual preparation, as a declaration to every dimension that you are someone who does not wait to live until love arrives. Because what happens when you make that declaration is this: your divine counterpart, wherever they are in the world, in whatever process they are currently moving through on their own path, begins to feel a pull they cannot explain. Their inner atmosphere changes. Something in them orients toward you in a new way, not because you performed wholeness, because you began to genuinely inhabit it. The sixth chamber holds the wisdom of separation. And if you are in a period of distance from someone you believe is your divine counterpart, this key is essential. Separation on the sacred union path is not rejection. It is not the universe telling you that you are wrong, that it was never real, that you should give up and move on. It is both souls being asked to complete something within themselves that cannot be completed in each other's presence. The soul lessons that arise in separation are the very lessons that will make the reunion sustainable. If you are in this phase, the most powerful thing you can do is stop measuring the distance and start deepening within yourself. Every insight you receive, every healing you allow, every layer of armor you choose to lay down, it is transmitted to your counterpart at the frequency level. Separation is not silence. It is the loudest possible form of soul communication. In the human world, silence between two people reads as absence. It reads as distance and coldness, and the growing certainty that what was felt is fading. But in the architecture of sacred union, what the human senses perceive as silence is the frequency level at its most active. Think of it as two instruments that are not yet in the same room, but are already tuning to each other, each one adjusting its pitch in response to what the other is becoming. Every adjustment you make in yourself, every old wound you address, every fear you face, every moment you choose presence over avoidance, registers at the level where your counterpart's soul can receive it. They may not consciously know they are receiving a transmission. They may simply notice that on a particular afternoon they thought of someone, or felt a strange peace, or found themselves more willing to open in a way they had been resisting. They may not connect it to you, but the connection is there. The communication is real. And your task in separation is not to wait in stillness. It is to grow so fully, so rapidly, so authentically in the direction of your highest self, that the frequency between you becomes impossible to ignore. And the seventh chamber, the final lock, opens only from the inside. This is the truth the whole journey has been building toward. Your divine counterpart cannot enter a heart that is still waiting for them to make it feel safe first. They cannot be the key that opens the door. That is not how sacred union works. You are the key. Your willingness to be fully open, fully healed, fully present in the love you are, before they arrive, not because of their arrival. That is what turns the final lock. And when it turns, there is a recognition that moves through both of you simultaneously. Not a question, a knowing the kind that does not require explanation or proof or testing, the kind that feels less like meeting someone new and more like returning to something ancient, something you were always moving toward, even in your most doubtful moments, especially in those moments. The reason this final lock opens only from the inside is because the universe, in its perfect and sometimes maddening wisdom, will not allow sacred union to rest on the foundation of need. Need is not love. Need is hunger wearing love's face. And while hunger is human and real and nothing to be ashamed of, it cannot sustain the architecture of what you are being prepared to receive. What can sustain it is fullness. What can sustain it is a love that is already flowing through your own life, toward the people and places and purposes that move through your days. That will simply expand to include this one specific person when they arrive. Not begin because they arrived, expand. And the distinction between those two things is the difference between a union that transforms and a union that merely comforts. What you have been prepared for is transformation. What is waiting for you is the kind of love that does not solve your life. It reveals the life you were already living as sacred. Here is what the high beings need you to hear before this transmission closes. You did not wait this long because love forgot you. You waited this long because you were being made into someone who could hold the love that was always meant for you. Every night that felt endless, every almost love that fell just short of reaching your depths, every moment of wondering whether something was wrong with you, none of it was wasted. All of it was instruction. All of it was refinement. All of it was love, moving through difficult forms, making you unbreakable in the exact places where your sacred union will require your strength. Think of every person who came close but could not stay, not with bitterness, but with the eyes of someone who now understands the precision of the process. They were not failures. They were not accidents. They were chapters in a preparation so specific, so tailored to the exact shape of the love you are being readied for, that if you could see the whole architecture from above, the way the high beings see it, you would not wish a single one of those experiences away. You would see how each one taught you something irreplaceable, how each one dismantled a version of you that was not quite ready, not quite clear, not quite aligned with the signal you needed to be carrying when the real meeting happened. You would see how the almost loves were not failures of love, but acts of grace, clearing the path, refining the frequency, making room for what could not have landed in you at that earlier stage, without being misunderstood or mishandled, or loved in a way that was less than it deserved. You are not behind. You are not too broken, too intense, too much, too late. You are precisely on time for a love that required everything you went through to become possible. And tonight, if you will place your hand on your heart and say these words aloud, not as a wish, but as a declaration of what is already true at the soul level. Say, I am worthy of divine love. My sacred union is already written. I trust the heart that led me here. Say it like you mean it, because the frequency of those words, spoken from your chest into the room around you, does something real, something measurable by the instruments the high beings use to track the progress of souls who are close. Souls exactly like you. Feel the weight of your hand against your chest. Feel the warmth beneath it. Feel the steady rhythm of a heart that is kept beating through every storm, every silence, every night that seemed to have no end. That heart, your heart, did not stop. It did not give up. It did not close, even when closing would have been the easier choice, the self-protective choice, the choice that would have cost you less in the short term. It stayed open. It kept the frequency alive. It carried the signal through every condition that might have reasonably extinguished it. That is not ordinary. That is the kind of faithfulness that entire spiritual traditions are built around. And it is yours. It belongs to you. It is evidence of your wound. It is evidence of your greatness. Before you move, leave one honest word in the comments. Not an essay, not a performance. Just the one word that is sitting in your chest right now. Then find someone else's word and respond to it with love. Because this space is not a comment section. It is a field of souls who found the same message at the same moment for the same reason. And when hearts in that kind of alignment connect with one another, something amplifies. Something in all of you moves closer to what you came here to experience. If this reached you, if something shifted even slightly in how you are holding your own story, please share it. Someone in your world is carrying the same weight right now and has not yet found the words for it. You may be the reason they do. Stay close. Subscribe if your heart says stay, because this is not the end of the transmission. It is the beginning of the part where everything you learned starts to become everything you live.